Hey up everyone, my name is Hutch and I hope you're having a good day. So I'm doing my own challenge for this video where basically the goal is to furnish this semi-detached house, which is based on my house in real life. And I'm going to be picking one winner of this challenge over on Instagram. Obviously my version is not an entry in the challenge, I'm just doing it for the sake of it. But yeah, I'm going to be picking one winner on Instagram who will win the new upcoming expansion pack Cottage Living. So if you want to participate in this challenge, click the link to the Instagram post, which will be in the description. The deadline is the 21st of July, so there's not long left. But before you do that, stick around to see how I furnish it myself. I'm going to be doing a Q&A in this video to celebrate reaching 100 subscribers, so yay, thank you for that. I really appreciate all of your support and kind comments that have me crying every other day, in a good way. But yeah, I won't be talking about the build, but it's not part restricted at all. I just used whatever, and I just furnished it how my house looks now, except I changed the exterior because the exterior of my house looks crap. So yeah, anyway, let's get into the Q&A bit then. So I'm probably going to be going off on a couple of tangents while answering these questions because that's how I talk and how my brain works. So I had a few people ask when I started playing The Sims, but they also asked some other questions as well. So I'll answer their additional questions. So Simi-Detached asked, when did you start playing The Sims? So I used to think that I started playing The Sims in like 2000 when I was about 6. But when I was going over like the questions, I started thinking back to when I first played, and I think I've got it mixed up with like something else. But I actually started playing The Sims when I was around 9 in like 2003. Simcina also asked, when did you start playing The Sims? And they also asked, I'm very curious about your favourite packs. So this is quite a tough question because I have different favourites for different things, but I think for gameplay it's probably seasons because it just adds so much to your game, and the same goes for like parenthood. I really like all the additional things that it adds to your game that in my opinion I just don't think I could play without, especially the seasons anyway. I also quite like Snowy Escape as well, just I think it's an all-round decent pack. I know the gameplay is kind of lacking for some people, but for me I just really like it. I like the world, I like the build items, and even though the gameplay is a little bit like boring at times, I still enjoy it. Like just going for hikes and stuff is fun to me. Then Simmy Sims also asked, when did you start playing The Sims and which game was your first? So my first game was The Sims 1, and I actually went to someone else's house to play it, so I didn't actually own the game itself. I did a bit later, but I played it at this person's house, which I'll explain in an upcoming question. But I got The Sims 2 like the following year for Christmas, and I can't remember if I owned The Sims 1 before I got The Sims 2 or after. But yeah, I think I played The Sims 1 first, but as for owning the game, I can't remember if it was Sims 1 or Sims 2. But yeah. And they also asked, what are some of your hobbies outside of YouTube? So I have a couple of hobbies, but I don't really do them that much. My special interests are The Sims, YouTube, and learning about like neurodivergency and stuff. These are a lot like more intense than my other hobbies, so they take up a lot of space in my life. There's not much room for other hobbies really, but I've always liked art and drawing. I like playing guitar. I used to play keyboard as well, but I don't do that anymore. And I also quite like reading. I'm just not that good at like reading like a physical book in front of me because I'm not great at like retaining information. I usually have to like read it several times over to like know what was said. So I do like to listen to like audiobooks and stuff. And in general, I just like playing video games. So if I'm not watching YouTube or playing The Sims, I'm usually just playing another game. Simsaga asked, what's your first memory or experience playing The Sims? So like I said, I played The Sims 1 for the first time at someone else's house. So a family friend used to babysit me and my brother, and we'd sometimes go to their house while we were being babysat. I don't know the past word of babysit, but yeah, the past tense of it I don't know. But yeah, one day we like visited their parents' house, and the brother was like 16 or something, like maybe a bit younger, and he was playing The Sims, and he said that I could have a turn, so I did. And I remember he put me in the newbie household, so I was playing as Bob and Betty Newbie, and I didn't really know how to play it obviously, but I just kept like cooking food, and they had this like radio that was on the table that kept playing music, and the TV was on. It was a bit chaotic. Then there was a fire in the kitchen that Betty started. I managed to sort that out with like the help of the older lad, and I'd just be like, there's a fire, help me, and so he was like helping me sort that out. Then they had like a baby. I can't remember if they like adopted a kid or if I made them have the baby, but yeah, I remember they had a baby that was just crying all the time and it was stressing me out. And then there was a fire outside that I think was started by the grill, and yeah, it was just a lot of chaos, and for some reason that chaos attracted me to the game. And yeah, I've played the franchise since, so yeah, that's like my first memory, just pure chaos. And then they also asked, what's your favourite thing to do when you're alone? So a lot of my time is spent alone because I like it that way. I do have my partner and my kids, but they're usually at school and work, and then in the evenings when like kids have gone to bed, I just like to do my own thing a lot. So usually that's like playing Sims or any other game really. And my favourite way of playing games is to also have a YouTube video playing in the background, and yeah, that's basically how I spend my time alone, just playing a game with like a YouTube video on. Then Ruby Anna Frost asked, what's your thoughts on the new Sims pack coming, aka Cottage Living? So I'm really excited about the new pack. When I saw the trailer I actually cried because of the animals in it, but as much as I'm excited and hopeful that the pack will be fun, I do have my doubts, which I think a lot of us do when it comes to The Sims 4 and new releases. But I just hope that the gameplay is good and fulfilling, and not one of those packs where you play it for like a couple of hours and then never again. I'm fairly certain that I'll like the build stuff, because I usually do anyway, but I enjoy building cottages as it is, so I can't see why I wouldn't like what comes with the new pack. But it's just gameplay I'm just a bit more like apprehensive about, and trying to manage my expectations. But generally I'm feeling really excited, and yeah, I find it hard to like not be excited about it, and I just hope that it just doesn't like let us down. I know people have been wanting a farming pack for years, and I know there's people like disappointed because there's no horses, which I'm personally not that bothered about, but I can see why others are. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Then Anna Philpott asked, favourite townie? So the sim that immediately comes to mind with that question is Bob Pancakes, which I think they're kind of like a love or hate sim. I think the same could be said for Bob and Eliza really, but there's just something about Bob that I've always liked, and yeah, I do feel a bit sorry for him. But I just like him as a sim. And then Nighttime asked your opinion, the worst packs, which is a really good question actually. So for me, and keep in mind that this is just my opinion, and if these are your favourite packs, that's fine. This is just like what I think, but the pack that I probably don't like the most is Island Living. I love the world, I love the build items, but the gameplay is just so lacking. And when it was first announced, that's kind of when I just got back into The Sims 4, because I'd been playing like other games for a while, and my old computer broke, so I couldn't play Sims 4 anymore anyway. But I'd been playing The Sims 4 for a bit, like on console, and they announced Island Living, and I was just like, oh my god, I need this pack. I like mermaids. I've not really played with a world like Solani, and it just looked really good from like the trailer and that. So I got the pack, and I did enjoy it initially for about a day, and then I'd done everything that you could do. There was just nothing fun to do in the pack. Swimming became a novelty pretty quickly. The mermaids were boring. It was just a bit of a letdown. So Island Living is probably for me the worst pack in terms of gameplay. And then Realm of Magic as well, for the same reasons really. When I played The Sims 1, I only had base game, and then later on I had like Vacation and Superstar, but I always wanted Making Magic. I was and still am a like massive Harry Potter fan, so I wanted to play with magic so badly, like as a kid at that age with like Sims 1 and stuff. I never had apartment life with Sims 2, and then with Sims 3 I did have Supernatural, but it used to crash my game, so I never really played with it. So when they announced Realm of Magic for Sims 4, it was like, finally I'm going to get to play like a magic pack, and again was so excited for it, but it just felt really empty, and like they could have just done so much with it. But for me it just feels flat and unfinished for me, much like the world that comes with it. But yeah, I actually bought it again recently for PC, because if you didn't know, I used to play on console and then I moved over to PC last year. But I wanted to make a Harry Potter inspired build for a challenge that I took part in, and yeah, I got it just for that really, and I'll probably never play with it, but the build items are alright, I suppose. And yeah, I think that's it for worth packs. Oh, Die Now, as if I forgot Die Now. Yeah, that's actually the worst out of all of them actually. It just doesn't even work. Like even now after all these years, I don't even use it. That's how I forgot it, because I just don't use it. I never send my Sims out to eat. To be fair though, they don't really leave the house at all, but if they do, I'm not going to be sending them to a restaurant for 12 hours to try and sit at a table. Then I was asked, where do you find inspiration for different interior styles? So it depends on the style and what I'm building really. Some styles like modern and contemporary, I tend to look on Pinterest and Instagram. So on Pinterest I'll just search like modern bedroom, for example, or like pastel bedroom, or whatever it is. And then on Instagram I'll just use like hashtags to search for stuff, and usually I come across like home accounts where it's like, say like farmhouse as an interior style, or modern or something, or like boho. I'll find like home accounts with that sort of theme. I am a creative person, but I'm not very imaginative, so I'm not great at like coming up with stuff all on my own, so I do tend to just look for pictures, and then I'll use them to like get some inspiration and then make my own version of that. But if it's like more of an old-fashioned style, Pinterest is good, but sometimes I'll just use like Google Images. And then some interior styles I'm better at than others, and some I need like more help with, but I've got better at just knowing what I want to make thanks to like looking at pictures and stuff, and getting used to building and that. Like before I went making a cottage, I'd have to look at a lot of pictures of interior styles, and now I feel more confident in coming up with my own floor plans and placing items and all that. So yeah, just looking at Pinterest, Instagram, and like Google Images and stuff. And Richie Potato asked, what made you start YouTube? I've wanted to make a YouTube channel since I was a teenager really, and I'm like 27 now. I first got into YouTube videos, like watching them, by searching like how to do a certain mission on a game, or how to find an item. So I'd watch like walkthroughs and tutorials and stuff like that, and eventually I came across people doing Let's Plays, and I thought that they were just like the best thing ever. And I've watched people like PewDiePie, Markiplier. I used to watch Yogscast all the time, and I always just thought that it looked like a lot of fun. I've always played games and thought if I had a camera and a microphone I'd like to do that, but yeah, I just never had the drive to actually do it properly. Chalk it up to like a lack of confidence and worrying that people would think I'm weird. I'm autistic, I am a bit weird, people notice that I'm different and they tell me about it, and as a teenager that like affects you. So yeah, I've been watching people like Deligracy, James Turner aka The Sim Supply, Little Simsy, Steffo Sims and Pumbella for like years, and most of them at some point or another, and this could be said for a lot of people that make YouTube videos, but at some point they've expressed that they've struggled with like self-doubt, anxiety, and just general like negative feelings and struggles. And I just thought I shouldn't let my self-doubt and my like lack of confidence stop me from pursuing something that I think I'll enjoy. I did media in college and I enjoyed doing like the editing and stuff. I forgot everything I learnt from doing that, but I enjoyed it. And yeah, I enjoyed playing The Sims, so I just thought, why not just go for it? So I created my channel in February as like a starting off point. I thought if I make this account and then there it is, you know what I mean, I've committed to it then. So I was planning on saving up for a computer because I'd wanted to do that for a while anyway. And then in March 2020 my plans changed a bit, so yeah, put it off. Struggled through pandemic a bit, discovered I was autistic and have ADHD, went through diagnosis, self-acceptance, a lot of changes, all of which are still like ongoing. And yeah, eventually I just thought, do you know what, fuck it, I'm doing it. I bought a laptop in the Black Friday sale, I got a cheap mic, and I just started making speed builds in December. So lots of reasons like make up why I started my channel, but I guess the short version is I put it off for ages and eventually thought, do you know what, I'm going to do it. And then they also asked, are you planning to make YouTube a career? I don't know if that is something you can actually plan for. I know people do set out with that in mind, and I'm not going to bullshit and be like, oh no, I would never want that. Like obviously if that happened then that would be amazing, but I haven't really set out with that in mind as a goal. I really only had one goal at the beginning, and that was to see if I would enjoy it. I did enjoy it, I do enjoy it still, But at the time, that was like the goal. So then my next goal was to like see if I could be more consistent with like making videos. I function best with like a routine, so I upload twice a week now, and I've started like incorporating Instagram posts into like more of a schedule, which is another side that I've discovered I enjoy doing because I like sharing my interests with others. And yeah, I view making videos for me as like an extension of my special interests. So I've got The Sims, I've got YouTube, and both of those are like individual things on their own. So I just sort of combined like this hybrid one, I guess. And yeah, I'll just continue to do that for as long as I enjoy it. I do play other games, and at some point if I want to play other stuff on my channel I probably will. But obviously my focus right now is Sims. And I think, yeah, as far as a career goes, I think that's such a big thing that I don't think you really can plan and set out to do. And a lot of people that do have YouTube careers, as talented and as fun as they are, and you know, they've grown their audience and stuff, even they will say that a lot of it is based on luck. So yeah, if it happens, then obviously it would be great, but it's not something that I've planned to like do. And then Jay Loves Animal Crossing asked, I also love Animal Crossing, but Jay Loves Animal Crossing asked, how does Pride make you feel? So this question, it really stood out to me because when it was sent, I was a bit like, it's not one of those questions that's like straightforward, but like I could talk about this for hours, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to try and like condense it as much as possible. So I am queer. I'm proud of my queerness. I'm proud of the things that I've overcome, the issues that I've faced through like, you know, internalized homophobia and overcoming that, and just everything surrounding what it's like to grow up as a queer person that's not accepted. And I'm proud of other queer folk, and if you're queer, I'm proud of you and all. But yeah, Pride Month itself, I just find it exhausting. Now that we're in July, I do feel relieved, and it's for a few reasons. First, I don't like companies changing the logo to a rainbow and then doing nothing for queer folk, or even harming them. I get sick of people asking why we even need Pride, which simple Google will answer that question, but it's the way that they do it, like, ugh, what do we even need this for? Being gay is legal, so we don't need it anymore. And it's like, well, that rhymed, but yeah, it's like, well, that's not what it's about, but yeah. And then whataboutism, when people are like, well, what about veterans? What about child poverty? What about animal rights or whatever? Which all are valid things that do need more attention on. They do need more sort of awareness and action to resolve issues surrounding those things. But it's like, you don't need to say like what about when talking about one issue. You can care about more than one thing at a time. And yeah, that kind of is annoying. And having all of that for a month alongside seeing people that are, you know, bigoted, and because it's Pride Month, they now feel that they can be more vocal about the hatred of queer folk. It's just hard, like, to experience it for a month. Do you know what I mean? But then on the other side, I think it's important. I think it's necessary, and I think it's amazing to not only see queer folk being happy and celebrating themselves, and for young queer people to see, you know, people that are like them represented, who are happy and, you know, living life. Because when I was younger, you didn't have any of that. The only time you saw queer people were like in TV, like soaps, like soap operas, like dying or something, or it was like a tragic, awful thing. You never saw like queer people actually being happy, or a nice representation of them. It was usually quite like an offensive one. So I think that's important, because Pride does help, you know, address those kind of things. And also to be able to recognise, which we can do all year long, but to be able to recognise those of us that aren't as fortunate, that, you know, live in countries where it's not legal to exist as they are, and also recognise those in our own countries that are treated less favourably than those of us that are more privileged. So yeah, I think, you know, it's important, because let's face it, if it weren't for those people, we wouldn't even have the right to exist, never mind have a month-long celebration. So yeah, but yeah, it makes me feel a lot of ways. It's kind of like a heavy question, I guess. It's not that straightforward for me anyway. Some people will just have a straight answer, but I'm not. straight, so I don't have a straight answer. But yeah, by the end of it all, I'm chuffing knackered, so yeah. And with that heavy answer out the way, I'm going to end with some questions that my partner sent, which I think they sent because they thought no one would ask me out. But yeah, they asked, do you watch football? Yeah, I do watch football. I'm a Manchester United fan, best club in the world, and I'll be watching England play later as well, which are not the best international club in the world, but it's coming home either way. Favourite anime? I'm not a massive anime watcher, but my favourite is probably Death Note. I've watched that over and over, and I do like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure as well. And then favourite clone trooper, I don't even really think I have one because I haven't been watching Clone Wars enough to form a favourite. But it's probably Commander Cody or Captain Rex, and I'm not just saying those because those are the only two that I can remember. And then favourite Jedi, easy, Obi-Wan Kenobi. So yeah, with that I'm going to end the video. I really hope that you enjoyed this little Q&A thing. I enjoyed answering the questions, and thank you to everyone that sent them in. I really appreciate you all. Thanks a lot for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and consider subscribing if you'd like to. Hope you have a great day, and I'll see you later. Bye!